Today I'll show you 7 altcoins that are about to show growth greater than XRP. Let's try to figure out how to understand when it's worth fixing profits and how not to sell too early. Right now we see that some altcoins are going up one by one, when most of them are showing only slow growth. It should be understood that 3 years ago during the bull run, it was exactly the same. Altcoins were pumping up one by one as liquidity is limited. And in such moments, many people see other altcoins grow 5 times in a week, when altcoins that are in your portfolio are just standing still. You start selling them and buying other altcoins, and this is a mistake, and this is exactly what the market maker is actually trying to achieve. Also important, for example, I have XRP, XLM, HBAR in my portfolio, but why I'm not selling so far? I'll explain. When the whole market is in one range and at some point one altcoin flies to the moon, it's not an accident, it's done on purpose. The market maker did it, and he calculated all the risks, and you won't see a single chart of more or less normal coins where a token is not showing anything, and then sharply shows a 10x growth, and after a week it returns to the previous values. Because if the market maker sends the token up, he has no other options but to find liquidity in the form of buyers, and for this purpose, after the growth, the token starts to trade in a sideways trend, usually for at least 6 months, to give time for the big player to distribute the tokens gradually. So, if you see your asset growing, it's not worth selling it, especially when other assets remain on the same place, because if the market is positive, even the most hopeless projects show growth. It will not happen that your asset skyrocketed and then started to fall while the rest of the market is growing, unless you bought a scam token. The market is just starting to grow. Now, absolutely all altcoins have made 2x from their lows, but there are altcoins that have shown growth of 5-8x. Among them are XRP, XLM, HBAR, SUI. So, how to understand which of the following altcoins will show parabolic growth? Let's try to figure out. As I said, Bitcoin always goes up first. That is, its dominance grows and altcoins become cheaper, so that then the market maker could buy cheap altcoins for expensive Bitcoin. But it's not that simple. After we got expensive Bitcoin, liquidity moves to altcoins with huge capitalization, and their price grows first. It's such altcoins as Solana, Ethereum. Then liquidity goes to altcoins with large capitalization such as XRP, XLM. HBAR showed growth from 0.45 to $3, which is 7x, and we are at this point now. Then heavy altcoins will continue to pump, and we'll discuss them and try to make 6-8x with them, while other altcoins are standing still. And after that, we'll rebalance from the altcoins that was pumped to those that didn't show such a big growth. As we know, the big player pump heavy assets from the old bull market, and there are such altcoins that haven't grown much yet. The most striking example is Ethereum Classic. If we look at the chart now, we can see that it's at local highs around $40, and the total maximum is $150. And as we can see on the example of XRP, XLM, HBAR, these tokens are now growing to their maximums. So why Ethereum Classic should at least approach its highs or update its highs? Let's start with the chart. We see that the previous distribution zone in 2021 was at the values of $45.70. Further, the token dropped by 65% and traded for 2 years in the range of $15-40, where the big player bought the tokens back and the average purchase price is in the neighborhood of $22. So, why we can expect $150 in the near future? It should be understood that the market maker will not be accumulating tokens for 2 years with an average buyback price in the range of $22 in order to send the token price to $80 as it's only 4x growth, and at $80 he will not find liquidity to sell and fix the profit. That is, tokens that are more than 2 years in the accumulation zone will go up 7-10 times minimum, regardless of capitalization, which we're now seeing from large tokens. If you liked the video, give it a like, it really helps me with the YouTube algorithms. We see the same pattern on many older altcoins like Uniswap. There was a distribution zone in 2021 after the token dropped by 90%. The accumulation zone, 3 times growth from $5 to $15 in 2024, and after that, returning to the accumulation zone and growth again. But I favor Ethereum Classic because, have you heard of anyone buying it? No. So there are much less unnecessary passengers who will slow down the growth with their sales. Also, I expect that very soon Ethereum will rise to 6,000–7,000 and it will have a nice impulse on Ethereum Classic. That's why I bought Ethereum Classic with 2% of my portfolio, expecting at least 5–7x gain to then rebalance into smaller capitalization altcoins that have shown less growth. Next, the liquidity will be moving to mid-high capitalization projects such as Matic, Atom, and ecosystem projects such as Aptos and Sui. Matic and Atom have the same chart with accumulation zone of more than 2 years, and in the last half a year, both Matic and Atom have updated their historical lows and shown growth from the bottom of 2.5x, and I expect Ethereum Classic, Atom, Matic to show an explosive growth like it was with H-bar. More of my trades and opinions on the market can be found in my Telegram channel, the link is down below. The next layer of altcoins where liquidity will move and they will show sharp growth is mid-capitalization projects. Today I want to talk about Wormhole. I bought it with 5% of my portfolio and here's why. This altcoin hasn't grown much from its lows, and it has a huge growth potential. Let's start with the fact that the project received an investment of $225 million, but when their bridge was hacked, they reimbursed $250 million to users. This means that the funds spent a lot of money on this project and they need to return the invested funds. According to the chart, we see that the token after the release immediately dropped and the first zone was in the range of $0.5–0.7. But their trading volumes per day were about $40 million, which for a project with a capitalization of $1 billion are just pennies. And in the last half a year, we see a zone of accumulation where a large player accumulated volumes for further manipulation. I expect that it will show growth to $0.7 very soon. The price will hold there for a while and then it's gonna be in a sideways trend for a couple of weeks, at most. We may see a drop of 25% in a day and a quick recovery of the price of the token. This way the market maker will try to intimidate us and push to sell the token before the growth. And then we will see a sharp growth. From Wormhole, I expect growth in the range of $3–5, that's conservatively 10–15x, and earlier I'm not gonna sell. Also on Twitter, the project announced rewards for delegating tokens. I advise to delegate at least 1,000 tokens per account in the Base network, as most likely Base will give a reward for this. Now let's move on to altcoins with a small capitalization of $400–600 million. I'll show you a whole class of altcoins that have the same manipulation model. Let's start with AltLayer, which is a modular blockchain similar to Celestia. It has raised at least $37 million from Dash 1 funds like Polychain, Jump Crypto, Binance. It traded at $0.5 and then traded for 6 months in the range of $0.3–0.65. That's a long time, but if we look at the trading volume, it's small at around $30 million, so the big players couldn't distribute a lot of tokens. In the last half a year, the token was traded in a range of $0.08–1.4, where the big player bought the token cheap. Also, the most important thing is that there's not much talk about this token. I bought it with 5% of my portfolio and I expect it to grow at least 15–20 times. Maybe it will not grow right now, but the current prices look attractive. While in January, the token will start token unlocks. So let's take a look at the chart of TIA, and we see the token pump 10 times from its lows and then fall by 70% and the accumulation zone, about 6 months. Open the chart of AltLayer and see the fall by 70% and also the accumulation zone. Also, open the chart of DIM and see the price drop by 75% and a clear zone of accumulation. All these projects are under Binance, and as we see, one and the same market maker. By the same logic, I bought DIM in anticipation of price manipulation as the global market maker will pump its large assets. At the same time Binance can pump its assets, I bought DIM with 2.5% and sent it to staking as I'm waiting for Cosmos ecosystem projects to give out airdrop for staking Dimension, and there's not much competition. Thanks for watching and write your thoughts in the comments.